they are shields down, and this thing is going to hit extremely hard, especially after this farm down right here. We have the Shadow Ball ready to go. Opponent comes in with the Alolan Marowak, so we could be seeing a potential sweep right here by the Shadow Banette, taking out the Marowak with the Shadow Ball. Machamp in the back. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, and if you're a returning subscriber like Anshu Mishra, thank you for the support. In today's video, we are taking a look at some battles in the Great League Remix featuring a double ghost team with a very spicy pick, Shadow Banette. Now, Shadow Banette is a Pokemon I have wanted to use for a very long time since first watching that OG video from Caleb Pang with Bastiodon, Lapras, and Shadow Banette in the back. Ever since watching that, I've wanted to build a Shadow Banette. With the recent Halloween event, I did finally find one. Rank 49, definitely good enough for me to build, and this is a Pokemon that is quite difficult to build around. The main issue with Shadow Banette is that it doesn't have access to a bait move. As a result, it takes a very long time to get to its charge moves, and because it's so glassy, there isn't really a lot of shield pressure. I think the best way to utilize a Pokemon like this is as a closer, and for that reason I'm using it in the back, paired with a second ghost type in the form of Gengar as the safe switch, and a very bulky Pokemon in the lead in Dewgong. This team will operate in a sort of ABB style, with Dewgong being weak to the fighting types. Both ghost types in the back provide awesome coverage for that, and then with the backline being sort of weak to ground types like Whiscash plus Diggersby, and also very weak to Pokemon like Pidgeot and Noctowl, Dewgong is going to provide some solid coverage for the backline. The main goal is going to be to get shields with the Gengar, opening up the opportunity for Shadow Banette to sweep in the back. This was honestly one of the most fun teams I've ever used in Go Battle League, had a lot of really tight battles, and it should make for an interesting video. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please consider leaving a like on the video. It really helps the channel grow. Leave a comment in the comment section down below, and without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. Alright, so we are using Shadow Banette today in a double ghost team, sort of an ABB strategy with Dewgong in the lead. Going to be utilizing Gengar as the safe switch, try and get some shields here. First match, we see an Aerodactyl in the lead, a Shadow form. This is actually a pretty decent matchup for Dewgong, but as you're going to see in this video, I'm often going to swap out into the Gengar because I need to lure out the hard counter for the ghost type. So even in some of the more neutral matchups for Dewgong, I will swap out. Now, Aerodactyl is going to be able to farm down here. We did get one shield, and now I'm going to be able to come back in with the Dewgong. We should only have to shield once here, and then I should be able to commit to a farm down if the opponent decides to stay in. So Rock Slide comes through, we do shield that. They swap out into Toxicroak. So I'm going to throw this Icy Wind here, and then I'm hoping that they throw a Mud Bomb, at which point, if they're dry on energy, I will swap out into the Shadow Banette. So the opponent's throwing here right away. This should be a Mud Bomb. My switch timer should be up at this point. So I'm clicking on the Banette, going to come in here, look to farm down before they get to another move, which we are able to do. The Aerodactyl is extremely low at this point. Let's see what else they have in the back. It is a Ferrothorn, so we have a huge energy lead. This is pretty good for us. Going to throw this Shadow Ball. That goes unshielded, dealing huge damage, as you can see. And at this point, we just shield up this move. Should be able to commit to the farm down and win this game. Aerodactyl comes back in, gets farmed down. Ferrothorn doesn't want the smoke. The opponent backs out of the match. We're off to a 1-0 start here in the first battle with this double ghost strategy. Let's hop into match number 2. We got Dewgong into Cofagrigus. So this is a pretty difficult lead right here. Dewgong can win this match in the 2 shields. However, my backline is going to struggle a little bit. Cofagrigus is sort of similar to Shadow Banette in that it doesn't have a bait move. So Shadow Ball plus Psychic, I think, is the standard move set. Going for the Icy Wind right here, which the opponent does no shield. They swap out into Empoleon. Now, this is a very difficult line for this team, as you can see, because neither of my back Pokemon do particularly well against the Empoleon here. So I want to debuff it first and hopefully let it throw some energy. So I think here I'll throw one more Icy Wind. Drill Peck comes through. And then after this Icy Wind, I'll probably swap out into the Gengar here. Now, it has been debuffed twice, so I think at this point we should be able to survive a Hydro Cannon. Whereas if we didn't debuff, it would probably KO here. You can see even after being debuffed 2 times, it still does a lot of damage. I went for the aggressive farm down. We had a lot of energy there, and unfortunately, we simultaneously KO'd. So I come in here with the Shadow Banette, opponent comes in with the Cothagrigus, and it looks like they tried to store a move perhaps. Registeel in the back is not good news for us. We are down a shield here, so I'm going to be going for the Shadow Ball. That's going to get the first shield from the opponent, and we're going to get to this second Shadow Ball right here. Now, if this is a CMP tie, that means we will actually outpace the Registeel, or not outpace, but get to the move at the same time. I think the only win con here is to actually try and catch the Flash Cannon onto the Dewgong. So I'm looking to time this perfectly, come in with the Dewgong. The opponent is going to throw. I hope they take out the Dewgong here, which they do, coming back in with the Banette, looking for the potential sack. We are at the Shadow Ball, and look at that, 1 HP and a dream, but is this going to be enough to take out the Registeel? Bang, there it is, Registeel gets taken out. Shadow Banette going absolute beast mode right there. That was an insane battle, down a shield as well. So Banette, absolute sick closer here in the Great League Remix meta. A beautiful lead right here in the form of Noctowl. Opponent swaps out to Drapion, and I insta-swapped into Gengar here, which of course is a very bad position to be in. So I'm going to shield up this first move here, but things are looking rough, and there's pretty much no way I can win this match. So I believe we do make a misplay here. I go for the Shadow Punch, which is fine. We get the shield. And I should be able to get to this Sludge Bomb here. Now, Sludge Bomb isn't going to be knocking out the Drapion, so they will survive here. But this is where I make the mistake. There is no reason for me to shield here because I will not be able to farm down. We will get outpaced, and as you can see, pretty much a shield for no reason. So an absolute waste right there, which is going to cost us this game, I feel. Come back in with the Dewgong. I am going to farm down. Now, if they didn't have that shield, maybe there'd be some play here because as you can see, it's Machamp in the back. So I'm going to swap out into the Banette here. And I believe with an energy lead, I should actually be able to outpace to the Thunder here, which will take out the Noctowl, believe it or not. So Noctowl coming in here, going to take this Thunder. This is going to deal huge damage right here. Takes out the Noctowl. Machamp comes back in, but unfortunately has reset the debuff to its attack stat. Rock Slide is going to knock out the Banette, and I am not going to be able to survive a cross chop here. So because of that poor play in the secondary match against the Drapion, we do end up losing this game. Of course, Drapion is a pretty difficult Pokemon to see for this particular team, especially with the Noctowl in the lead. We kind of needed to save that Dewgong as well. So a bit of a misplay there in that matchup. We do lose the game, but at least we have something to learn from it. Drifloon in the next battle, opponent swaps out to Toxicroak, gonna come in here with the Gengar. Now we are going to have to shield once because Mud Bomb is dealing super effective damage as a result of that poison typing on the Gengar. But we should be able to land the Shadow Punch here. Not really expecting a shield, but if the opponent does shield, we should outpace them to this next Shadow Punch. But I got a little bit greedy here, as you can see, and actually overfarmed, which means I have to double shields here. Now, hopefully I did not click the move and I am able to farm down here. That's huge. So now we're loaded on energy. If Drifloon comes back in, which it does not, we'd have a lot of energy ready to throw. Stunfisk comes in instead, which is okay. So I'm going to throw the Shadow Punch right here, throw another one, and then eventually, probably after I throw this, I'll look to maybe charge up 1 or 2 more fast moves before swapping into the Dewgong. Swapping right there. We have the Shadow Punch ready to go for the late game. Of course, the opponent not in a good spot here. The Stunfisk is dealing super effective damage with the discharge, but it's also taking super effective damage from these icy winds, as you can see. Drifloon comes back in, the opponent doesn't even care to see what the third Pokemon is, so they end up losing that game. Let's hop into the next battle. 3-1 so far with this team. Things are looking very good. Alolan Marowak, not the best lead for Dewgong, but it is playable. I swap out into Gengar, as you see. Going to swap out most of the time, and here comes a Slowbro. So poor timing there by me to let the confusion sneak through. Shadow Punch gets the first shield, and thankfully that confusion didn't really make a difference because we get to the second Shadow Punch anyways, and the opponent actually double shields. So now I have a decision to make. Do I want to come in with Dewgong and farm, or come in with Banette, use a shield and farm? I decide to come in with the Banette right here because I know that they are shields down, and this thing is going to hit extremely hard, especially after this farm down right here. We have the Shadow Ball ready to go. Opponent comes in with the Alolan Marowak, so we could be seeing a potential sweep right here by the Shadow Banette, taking out the Marowak with the Shadow Ball. Machamp in the back, also gonna get hit by this Shadow Ball, and Shadow Banette about to do what it does best. Bang! There it is, Shadow Banette sweeping the opponent's team, end up going 4-1 in that set with the double ghost strategy. As you could see, Shadow Banette is an absolute beast when shields are down. Shadow Ball with stat hits hard. So hopping into the second set of battles, I am very excited to be showcasing this team today. As you can tell, very fun team right here. Mad Cargo into Dewgong. Not the greatest lead, but as we've seen, I'm usually going to swap out into the Gengar right here. Opponent comes into Trevenant. I actually make a misclick here. I saw the grass typing, so I threw the Sludge Bomb. Definitely want to be going Shadow Punch here against the Trevenant, but thankfully for us, we actually get to the second one, and this is going to be enough to take out the Trevenants if they do not shield, which they don't, so we actually end up taking Switch plus the shield advantage out of that matchup there. And I was very happy to see that because Trevenants could have been a bit of an issue for the team with energy. Thankfully, the opponent did not shield. So Mad Cargo here, going to shield this up. And I'm just going to look to throw the Shadow Ball immediately at this point. And then depending on what they have in the back, we'll probably look to swap out, reset the debuff on the Banette. Opponent does shield the Mad Cargo. I swap out into the Dewgong. It's a Shadow Gardevoir in the back. Thankfully for us, in the 0 shields, this is going to be a big win for Dewgong. So Icy Wind comes through. The opponent is not going to be able to get to a charge move, which means we'll get to one more Icy Wind right here. Actually, we will not, but we'll let this go down. And I believe Shadow Banette from this point with the shield should just be able to Shadow Claw down with that incredibly high attack stat. As you could see, does get a little bit close there, but we take the game. Shadow Banette is going off in this video, and it is a very fun Pokemon to use. Very happy to finally have one built. Dewgong into Snorlax right here. Pretty nice lead. Definitely don't want to see this in the back, so I'm very happy to see this in the lead here. Going to throw the Ice Wind. This is only going to be a Body Slam, I believe, so I'm going to let the first one go through. Is a Body Slam. Now, I find oftentimes Snorlax does tend to throw the Body Slam first, try and get a shield, and then go for the superpower the second time. So I am going to be a little bit careful here, and I am going to invest one shield just in case this is a superpower. I need to keep this Dewgong alive in case there is something that is super strong against these two ghosts in the back. I mean, most likely there won't be because they already have a Snorlax in the lead, but you never know. Catching the Body Slam onto the Gengar here, that is a very well-timed play. And those are the types of plays that are going to win you games because we get to save that energy on the Dewgong. We don't have to use a shield on a glassy Pokemon like a Gengar, which is very rare, and the opponent there does shield up the Sludge Bomb. Now I had a decision to make here. Did I want to shield this, knock out the Tropius, knowing I will get to the Sludge Bomb, or just farm it down? I decided to shield here, throw this Sludge Bomb, but this is going to allow the opponent to come back in with the Snorlax and actually farm us down, which isn't optimal, but they're so low at this point that I think 1 or 2 Ice Shards should be enough to KO, and thankfully they do not get to a move. So now Frostlass comes in, kind of a weird spot here. I'm going to throw the Icy Wind and then swap out into the Banette. We are going to get outpaced here to the move, and Banette is extremely glassy that even an Avalanche will KO from this range. As you could see, that hurts. Dewgong comes back in, and remember, we did debuff them once. CMP tie. Is Avalanche going to be enough to take out the Dewgong? This seal, too damn thick right here, surviving. But will Icy Wind take out the Frostlass? Yes, it does. Dewgong winning that game. The thick rank 1 Dewgong coming through clutch right there to pull it out for the ghosts in the back. Let's hop into the next battle. We got Dewgong into a Frostlass. So Frostlass looking to get revenge here in this next battle. Let's see how this plays out. I'm going to swap out, of course, into Gengar. As you have seen in all the videos, Toxicroak comes in, which definitely is not the type of counter you want to see. So this tells me Banette very likely to have a very good matchup here in the back. The opponent does shield. Of course, we're going to match the shield here. And last time you saw, I got a little bit greedy and I mistimed the throw. So this time I am going to make sure I throw this before the opponent gets off the Mud Bomb here. This should be enough to take out the Toxicroak, which it is. And they come in with a Stun Fist. So perhaps that was a misclick by the opponent there to come in with the Toxicroak as opposed to the Stun Fist there, because obviously Stun Fist would be a pretty hard counter to the Gengar, but we will take those. Either way, you would want to lure it out regardless, because then Banette versus the Toxicroak in the back would be pretty decent. Dewgong coming in here against the Stun Fist. So we're going to let this go through here. Discharge, dealing some nice damage, and the opponent swaps out into Frostlass. Now this is a bit of a tricky spot right here. So I'm going to throw the Icy Wind. I know that Banette does get outpaced, so I wanted to just really lower the attack here on the Frostlass and potentially have the opponent get into the red without them investing a shield, saving that for the Stunfisk. So if this goes unshielded here, even if it does go shielded, I'm going to swap out into Banette. And now because they let that go through, we could farm down with the Shadow Banette, keeping that shield for this Stunfisk here, which is going to be very important because they do have some energy. So I'm going to shield up this Mud Bomb and just commit to the farm down here. They still have a shield. No point to throw energy. Shadow Banette doing it once again, taking that game. Absolute beast. This thing is so fun to use. It is definitely spicy. It is not a meta pick, but it is a lot of fun as a closer. Dewgong into Frostlass, same thing as last game, swap out to Gengar. This time we see the ground type come out. It is the Whiscash, so always building up to the Focus Splash Shadow Ball range, going for the Shadow Punch right here, and the opponent is going to burn a shield. Very nice. We're going to let the Gengar go down now. Remember, the Whiscash is going to outpace us to the moves here, and it's just a very dominant matchup in general, so you don't want to be using any shields here. Taking that one shield is already very positive for us. So I come back in with the Dewgong here, and I decided at this point I was actually going to commit to the complete farm down here with Dewgong. I'm not going to throw any energy. I'm going to let the Whiscash throw all of its energy at me. I really don't care if we get into the red even, because we're going to be loaded here. The opponent will have that Frostlass plus another Pokemon in the back. Let's see how this plays out. We are able to farm down. We're over 100 energy at this point, so we did cap out. Frostlass comes back in. I'm going to throw the Icy Wind right here. This is setting up to look a lot like the previous team actually, and maybe it's another fighter in the back. You never know. Icy Wind comes through, swap out to Banette. They're going to throw energy, so I'm going to shield this up. First shield of the game, and it is a crunch, so that's a huge shield right there. Flygon in the back, which is very spicy, and this is where not having that bait move for the Banette does hurt a little bit, because if we get the shield, we get to another move right here, obviously, but you could see with the Shadow Ball, the opponent actually goes for Earth Power, so they go for the higher energy cost move, and they still outpace us to the second one. And unfortunately, Dragon Claw is enough to take out a Shadow Banette. We come in with the Dewgong though, able to farm down with super effective Ice Shards, and we get to that Icy Wind, which means Dewgong once again carrying the load for the two ghost types in the back, taking that game. I am really enjoying this team. Let's hop into the next battle. And I believe this may be the final battle of the video. I am not sure, but we got a Shadow Granbull here into the Dewgong. So once again, I'm going to swap out into the Gengar right here. Opponent brings in an Aggron, Shadow Aggron, which is definitely not what we want to see here with the Gengar, but going to throw this Shadow Punch right here, and it does get the shield. That's very nice. It's expected to get at least one shield, I'd imagine, from the Aggron. As we get to the second move right here, we get both shields, so you could see where that high attack stat really threatens opponents. And Aggron, still an issue for Dewgong here, so I decided to come in with the Shadow Banette instead. As you've seen in a previous match, when we get both shields, I look to just completely farm down and then take control of this game with the nuke moves from Banette. So you could see we have the Shadow Ball ready to go. Granbull comes back in. We're gonna land this Shadow Ball right here. Bang! There it is. Granbull gets taken out. Machamp in the back. Unfortunately, we won't get to the move, so now it's all up to Dewgong. Once again, we've seen it so many times in this video. Dewgong carrying the load for this team with its bulk. Rock Slide, big shield right there. We do get to the Icy Wind, and this is going to be enough to knock out the Machamp and take this game. So we managed to go a perfect 5-0 in that second set. 9-1 overall with this team. Shadow Banette putting in the work. So those were the battles in the Great League Remix featuring this double ghost team with Shadow Banette, Dewgong in the lead, Gengar safe switch. This is a very fun team to use. It's not the most meta team, and of course it is on the Glacier side, which makes it a bit risky to use, but there is a very high attack stat, and if you can manage a shield advantage with the Gengar, it really opens up the opportunity for Shadow Banette to sweep in the back. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.